All right, let's talk Los Angeles Chargers. This is a team under head man Jim Harbaugh has done some good things to start off the season. Obviously, a little bit of a transition year, of course, anytime you bring in a new regime, but they're making a lot of good moves on the football field. Not perfect, but they've improved significantly, especially with the coaching and the style of play. And to that end, the Chargers find themselves kind of on the edge of contention, and it looks like they may be a big mover at the fast approaching trade deadline to improve this roster. Exciting news out of LA. I'm Nick, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, this Chargers team, like I mentioned there in the opening, they're on the edge of contention. They obviously have a lot of good things going for them. Great coach, great quarterback, solid roster that's getting better and better, but they clearly have some holes, and it looks like they may be trying to address some of those holes. Let's pull up this report, courtesy of Bleacher Report, talking about the upcoming trade deadline. Per ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, who is probably the best NFL reporter. He's deeply plugged in. He's not a rumor mill guy. He's a guy who has sources outside the teams, agents inside the teams, across the NFL league office. Jeremy Fowler says something, there's some real weight behind it. But again, per Fowler, the Chargers are described as window shopping for potential deals right now, where they are comfortable with their current situation, but will consider any options that might help them get better. All right, I think that's code for the Chargers are aggressively looking for a couple guys specifically, but don't want to come out and say it, right? They're kind of playing it close to the vest. I think the Chargers are potentially setting up a massive trade to improve their roster with a deadline right around the corner. Miles, I'm curious what your thoughts are on this, but first, Chargers fans, in the comment section below, if the Chargers are buyers, if they go out and try and get a key veteran to upgrade this roster, who do you want them to get? If you could only pick one guy for the Chargers to acquire ahead of the trade deadline, let us know who you want that guy to be. Curious what you have to say. Put them in the comment section below. But Miles, what are your thoughts on this latest Chargers news?
Yeah, Nick, I think the Chargers, this is a team where if you look around the ball, they're really good at pretty much everywhere. There's just a couple of holes here and there at key positions that I think that, this team could really do. We look at, the additions they made this year. Joe Walt really shores up that offensive line. The offensive line actually looking pretty good if you look across the board for them. McConkey in the slot for the receiving group. Johnson's really making the leaps. I think their investment into or trading the other wide receivers, going all in that aspect is a good decision for them. But I think there's some other things they could do around the ball that are really interesting. One thing that stands out to me, the tight end position. Hayden Hurst, he's kind of been very down. He is down year last year. They brought him in, to this new system with Harbaugh. Hopefully, there's familiarity with the Greg Roman system. Is he going to do better? He's not. A 30 run blocking grade, a 47 receiving grade. He's just not doing what you want him to do. I think that's an aspect where they can go out and look at some other tight end options to help bolster this tight end position. I think that'll help the offense overall. You look at the other side of the ball, I think there's two key positions I'm looking at here for them to upgrade on the defensive side of things if they're able to find something at a good deal. I think the interior defensive line could use some help. I think Morgan Fox, he's had a couple of just so-so years declining play since 2022. He's just 40 run defense grade, 60 pass rush grade, just average, but he's just average in the middle of the ball for the Chargers. I think that is a position that you could upgrade and maybe see some big time results. And the other one I'm really thinking could help a lot is Gilman at the safety position. He had the crazy outlier phenomenal year last year. The years before that, we see 58.5, 58.8, 47.5 respectively PFF grades for Gilman. Then he gets the 86.1 grade in 2023. Is that a statistical anomaly? Did he put it together? I don't know, because now he's at a 37.5. He's last of all safeties. All out of 85 safeties, he is 85th on the list per PFF. Not doing good. So maybe in the back end of the secondary, they could use some help there as well. So I think looking around the ball, really good, but there's a couple of key positions they could look to upgrade. So I think Harbaugh is looking around. They're trying to find some stuff. I think this could be a really big opportunity for them, him and Ortiz. I think there's going to be a move made. I think it could really greatly help out this team going forward.
Yeah, and it's not like Ortiz is any stranger from making big deals at the deadline, right? He acquired Roquan Smith, I believe, in 2022 when he was working with the Ravens. So he knows what he's doing. He's made these kind of deals before, and that's a big part of it, right? If you want to pull off a big trade deadline deal, you obviously need to have the experience to do so, because it's a little more complicated, obviously, than offseason structures. going to what the Chargers specifically could be after, I agree with you 100% that the tight end position really jumps out at me. I look at two names right now. I look at Hunter Henry, a name obviously Chargers fans are very familiar with, currently with the New England Patriots, quietly having a really nice season for a just despondent Patriots offense. The Patriots look to be completely trying to rebuild, reload. They've already moved off a couple assets already. Uche and Judon right before the season, Uche recently, to try and pick up some more draft capital to surround their young team going forward. I wouldn't be surprised if they move off of Hunter Henry as well, if the Chargers are willing to give up something to pick him up. How about another name for you? How about David Njoku for the Cleveland Browns? Njoku's one of those phenomenal athlete tight ends who can run after the catch, who can make big plays down the field. Not a great blocker, which may not be ideal for this Roman Chargers offense, but in terms of an extra big play threat to add to this team in certain situations, not a lot of people can cover Njoku when healthy. I think he's a better player than people think, just because they've had a horrendous situation at the quarterback position for Cleveland over the past couple seasons. So Njoku's numbers and productions and highlights just don't really exist. I think you put him with Justin Herbert, suddenly he looks like an all-pro. I look at both of those guys, Henry and Njoku, as quality targets for the Chargers to go after at this point. And I don't really see this as an all-in move for this season. Now, it could be, right? It could be an opportunity to make the playoffs. To me, you acquire a Hunter Henry or an Njoku, specifically in this case, if you see them as long-term thinking for your franchise going forward. I go back to last season when the Bears picked up Montez Sweat in the middle of the season. People were like, why are the Bears buyers? They're terrible. They're in the middle of a rebuild. They were going after Montez Sweat because this was the guy they would have wanted to get in the offseason. They saw an opportunity to get him middle of the season with less competition. I look for Ortiz to follow that same model here at this trade deadline to say, okay, who is available that we can pick up that we would want to go after in the offseason? I look at Njoku. I look at Henry. To me, at the top of the list, there's a couple other guys on defense as well. I think this is an opportunity for the Chargers, not just to upgrade for the rest of 2024, but to get more pieces in place for future seasons as well.